Hello friends, till now we have covered many AWS services. In this video, we will be revising all the AWS services that we have covered till now. This is the agenda for this video. First, we will cover what is cloud computing, which will include introduction to cloud computing, its advantages and its types. Then, we will see AWS global infrastructure, which will include AWS regions, availability zones, edge locations, local zones, and wavelength zones. Then we will move to AWS Compute Service called Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud or EC2. Then we will see Amazon EC2 Autoscaling and Elastic Load Balancer. Then we will move to AWS Lambda, Amazon Elastic Container Service or ECS, Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service or EKS, and AWS Fargate. At last, we will see AWS Messaging and Queuing Services, Amazon Simple Queue Service or SQS, and Amazon Simple Notification Service or SNS. So, let's start. First, let's see what is cloud computing. Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of compute power, storage, database, and other IT resources through a cloud services platform via internet with pay-as-you-go pricing, which means you only pay for what you use. In simple words, it is a simple way to access broad set of services over internet where hardware is managed by cloud service providers like AWS. Now, let's look at advantages of cloud computing. Cloud computing has six main advantages. First is trade capital expense for variable expense. This means that instead of investing in building and maintaining data centers, cloud computing offers you a way to pay only for the resources that you use. Second is benefit from massive economies of scale. It means that by using cloud computing, you can achieve a lower variable cost as usage from various users can create higher economies of scale for cloud service providers like AWS, which results in lower prices. Third is stop guessing capacity. It means that with cloud computing, you can access as much or little capacity as you need, and also you can scale up and down as required. Fourth is increased speed and agility. It means that with cloud computing, new IT resources can be accessed within some minutes, whereas in on-premises environment, it takes from some weeks to months for resources to be available. Fifth is stop spending money running and maintaining data centers. It means that with cloud computing, you can focus on business de- development rather than maintaining servers. And the last is go global in minutes. With cloud computing, you can easily deploy your applications around the world within few minutes, providing better customer experience and high availability. Now, let's look at types of cloud computing. First, let's see cloud computing service models. Cloud computing has cloud computing has three service models. First is infrastructure as a service or IaaS. It consists of basic building blocks for cloud and provides highest level of flexibility and management control over your IT infrastructure. Second is platform as a service or PaaS. It removes the need for your business to manage the underlying infrastructure and allows you to focus on deployment and management of your applications. And the third is software as a service or SaaS. It gives you a complete product that is run and managed by the cloud service providers. With software as a service, you only need to think about where to use that software. Now, let's see cloud computing deployment models. There are three types of deployment models in cloud computing. First is cloud. A cloud-based application is fully deployed in the cloud. These applications are either created in the cloud or have been migrated to the cloud in order to take advantages of the cloud. Second is hybrid. By using hybrid deployment, you can connect infrastructure and applications between cloud-based resources and existing on-premises resources. The last one is on-premises. This is also called as private cloud. It provides dedicated IT resources that are only meant for your use. So now we have completed introduction to cloud computing, its advantages and its types. Now let's move to AWS Global Infrastructure. AWS Global Infrastructure is one of the most secure, extensive, and reliable, and offers over 200 plus fully featured services. It serves over a million active customers in more than 240 countries and territories. AWS Global Infrastructure is built around AWS regions and availability zones. First, let's see what is an AWS region. An AWS region is a physical location around the world with clusters of data centers. It is designed to be completely isolated from other AWS regions to provide greatest possible fault tolerance. AWS has launched 25 regions with multiple availability zones and has announced and has announced plans for more regions. Now, let's see what is an availability zone. An availability zone is a single or a group of data centers within a region. Availability zones are located tens of miles apart from each other to make them completely isolated from each other, so that in case a disaster occurs in one part of a region, they are distant enough to reduce the chance that multiple availability zones are affected. AWS operates in 81 availability zones within 25 regions around the world and has announced plans for more availability zones. Now, let's see what is an edge location. An edge location is a site that Amazon CloudFront uses to store cached copies of data closer to the customers for faster delivery. For example, consider that your business is operating from Singapore and your customers are located in India. So for delivering your data faster to the customers in India, you can cache a copy of your data at some site in India. This site is an AWS edge location. Now, let's see what is an AWS local zone and AWS wavelength zone. An AWS local zone stores compute. An AWS local zone stores compute, storage, database, and other AWS services closer to customers in order to run highly demanding applications. AWS local zone is used to run applications that require single-digit millisecond latencies to customers. Now, let's see what is an AWS wavelength zone. AWS Wavelength Zone enables developers to build applications that deliver single-digit millisecond latencies to mobile devices and end users by embedding AWS compute and storage services within telecom providers' data center and taking full advantage of bandwidth and latency advancements of 5G network. Now that we have completed AWS global infrastructure, let's move to AWS compute service called Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud or EC2. Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud or Amazon EC2 provides secure and resizable compute capacity in the cloud as Amazon EC2 instances. It is highly flexible, cost-effective, and quick in comparison to running servers in an on-premises data center. Amazon EC2 instance is like a virtual server that can be used to run applications in AWS cloud. You can provision and launch any capacity of Amazon EC2 instances within minutes, and when your workload is finished, you can stop running those instances. The best part is, you only pay for the time when the instances are running. EC2 instances works in 3 steps: launch, connect, and use. The first step is to launch an instance. For launching an instance, you have to select the configurations that includes type of operating system, application servers, or other hardware configurations. After configuring the instance, it is ready to be launched. Second step is to connect to the instance, which can be done in various ways. One way is to directly log in to the instance. and accessing it via desktop. The last step is to use the instance. After connecting to the instance, you can install software, add storage, and do many more things in that instance. Once you have completed running your workload, make sure to terminate the instances to avoid getting charged. Now, let's see Amazon EC2 instance types. There are 5 types of EC2 instances that are optimized for different tasks. First is general purpose instances. These provide a balance of compute, memory, and networking resources and are used for gaming servers, small databases, and backend servers. Second is compute optimized instances. These are ideal for compute-bound applications and are used for high-performance web servers, compute-intensive application servers, and dedicated gaming servers. Third is memory-optimized instances. These are designed to deliver fast performance for workloads that process large datasets in memory and are used in high-performance databases and real-time processing of unstructured data. Fourth is accelerated computing instance. These use hardware accelerators and are ideal for workloads such as graphic applications, game streaming, and application streaming. The last one is storage optimized instances. These are designed for workloads that require high sequential read and write access to large datasets on local storage and are suitable for data warehousing applications. Now, let's see the pricing options for using Amazon EC2 instances. Amazon EC2 offers 5 pricing options for different use cases. First is on-demand instances. These are ideal for short-term, irregular workloads that cannot be interrupted and are used in developing and testing applications or running applications with unpredictable usage patterns. Second is Amazon EC2 Savings Plan. In this pricing option, you are required to select a 1 year or a 3 year term, which results in savings of up to 66% over on-demand instances. Third is reserved instances. These are a billing discount applied to the use of on-demand instances in your AWS account by reserving instances for a 1 year or a 3 year term. You get more cost savings by a 3 year term. Fourth is spot instances. These are ideal for workloads with flexible start and end times, and also these can withstand interruptions. Spot instances offers a cost savings of up to 90% over on-demand prices. The last one is dedicated hosts. These are physical servers with EC2 instance capacity that is fully dedicated for your use. These are the most expensive of all other options. Now, let's move to scalability and elasticity in AWS. First, let's see what is scalability and AWS service used for scaling Amazon EC2 autoscaling. Scalability is beginning with only the resources you need and automatically scale in or out depending on the changing demand. The AWS service which automatically does the scaling process is Amazon EC2 autoscaling. Amazon EC2 autoscaling enables you to automatically add or remove EC2 instances in response to the changing demand, which helps your business achieve high availability. When you create an autoscaling group, you have to set the minimum capacity, which is the minimum number of EC2 instances that will launch immediately after creation of autoscaling group. You can set up the desired capacity also, which is the desired number of EC2 instances that you want in your autoscaling group. The last one is the maximum capacity of the autoscaling group, which is the number of EC2 instances that an autoscaling group can scale out in response to the increased demand. With Amazon EC2 autoscaling, you only pay for the number of instances you are using or running. Now, let's see how to route incoming traffic among different EC2 instances, or how to solve problem of load balancing. The problem of load balancing can be solved by an AWS service called Elastic Load Balancer, or ELB. It is the AWS service that automatically distributes incoming traffic across multiple EC2 instances. It is a single point of contact for all the incoming traffic to your autoscaling group. The important point is that Elastic Load Balancer or ELB and Amazon EC2 autoscaling works together in order to make your business highly available and fault tolerant. So now we have covered the server part. Now it's time to move to the serverless part. First, let's see what is serverless computing. Serverless computing means that your code runs on servers, but you do not need to provision or manage those servers, as all the management is taken care by the service providers so that you can focus more on innovating new products and features. The AWS service for serverless computing is AWS Lambda. Let's see what is AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda is a service that lets you run code without needing to provision or manage servers. You only need to upload your code in the Lambda function, which only runs when the request comes in, and you only pay for the time your code is running. Now, let's move to AWS Container Services, Amazon Elastic Container Service or Amazon ECS, and Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service or Amazon EKS. Both Amazon ECS and Amazon EKS are container orchestration tools that use Docker containers. First, let's see Amazon Elastic Container Service or Amazon ECS. Amazon Elastic Container Service or Amazon ECS is a highly scalable, high-performance container management system that enables you to run and scale containerized applications on AWS. Now, let's see Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service or Amazon EKS. Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service or Amazon EKS is a fully managed service that you can use to run Kubernetes on AWS. Now, let's see what is AWS Fargate. AWS Fargate is a serverless compute engine for containers and works with both Amazon ECS and Amazon EKS. It allows you to focus more on innovation and development so that you only have to pay for the resources to run your containers. So now we have covered the serverless part. Now let's move to AWS messaging and queuing services. Amazon Simple Queue Service or Amazon SQS and Amazon Simple Notification Service or Amazon SNS. First, let's see what is Amazon Simple Queue Service or Amazon SQS. Amazon Simple Queue Service or Amazon SQS is a message queuing service through which you can send, store, and receive messages between software components. In Amazon SQS, an application sends messages into a queue. A user or service retrieves a message from that queue, processes it, and then deletes it from that queue. Now, let's see what is Amazon Simple Notification Service or Amazon SNS. Amazon Simple Notification Service or Amazon SNS is a publish subscribe or a pub sub service in which a publisher publishes messages to the subscribers, which can be web servers, email addresses, or AWS Lambda functions. So this was all for this video. See you in the upcoming videos. Please subscribe the channel for getting updates about the upcoming videos. Thank you.